Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that often sounds like pure science fiction, quantum computing.
Right.
But it's very real, it's happening now, and honestly, it feels like it's about to flip the entire world upside down.
It really does feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a computer so powerful, it could crack codes in seconds, codes that would take our best current computers, like millions of years. Or think about simulating entire molecules to cure diseases. Alzheimer's, cancer, you name it.
The potential is just staggering.
Exactly. So whether you're excited by all that or frankly a bit terrified, you really need to know about this.
Absolutely. And that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? We want to unpack this really complex topic, quantum computing, but, without all the crazy jargon.
Keep it understandable.
Yeah, explore what it actually is. Look at the mind-blowing potential, the good stuff. But also, crucially, dig into the significant risks it brings.
Right.
And everything we're talking about today is drawn straight from the sources we've gathered for you.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What is quantum computing? How is it different? We all kind of get traditional computers, right? They use bits.
Yep, good old bits.
Zeros and ones, off or on, simple switches, basically. That's the foundation of, well, everything digital we use.
Exactly. But quantum computing throws that rulebook out the window. It uses qubits, or quantum bits.
Qubits, okay.
And these qubits are where the magic or maybe the weirdness happens. They rely on a couple of core quantum physics principles. First one is superposition. Think of it like this. A regular bit is either 0 or 1. A qubit, it can be 0, it can be 1, or it can actually be both at the same time.
Both. Simultaneously.
Like a spinning coin before it lands, it's neither heads nor tails. It's sort of in a state of both possibilities.
Okay, that's already messing with my head a bit. What's the second principle?
The second one is entanglement. This is maybe even stranger. You can link two qubits together, entangle them. And once they're linked, whatever you do to one instantly affects the other one. Instantly. No matter how far apart they are. Miles, light years, doesn't matter.
Wow, okay, that doesn't even sound like it should be possible.
It baffled Einstein.
Yeah.
But it's real, it's been proven. And these two things, superposition and entanglement, they're what give quantum computers their incredible power.
So let's try an analogy. If using a normal computer to solve a problem, say, navigating a maze, is like trying every single path one by one until you finally stumble out.
Right, brute force, essentially, trial and error.
Then what's quantum computing like in that maze?
It's like stepping back, somehow seeing all the possible paths through that maze all at the same time.
Instantly.
Instantly, you just know the way out.
Yeah.
That ability to explore this vast landscape of possibilities all at once, that's the exponential power.
Okay, that is a big freaking deal.
It really is.
So let's talk about the good stuff then. If we can actually harness this almost unbelievable power, what kinds of problems could we solve? You mentioned diseases earlier.
Exactly. That's one of the most exciting areas. Revolutionizing medicine. Imagine designing brand new drugs by simulating how molecules interact at the most fundamental atomic level.
So not just trial and error in the lab, but actually designing cures based on understanding the precise mechanics.
Precisely. We could potentially model complex diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, maybe even understand the aging process itself.
That's incredible. Any specific examples?
Well, yeah. Take Moderna and their work on the COVID-19 vaccine. They had this tiny fragment, an mRNA molecule. And for just that small piece, there were, get this, 10 to the power of 623 possible configurations.
Wait, 10 with 623 zeros after it?
Yep, an absolutely astronomical number. A classical computer couldn't possibly analyze all those options, not even in a trillion years.
Impossible.
But early tests using quantum approaches, they're showing real promise for tackling exactly these kinds of massively complex molecular simulation problems.
Okay, wow. So medicine is huge. What else?
Well, think about the infrastructure we rely on, like faster internet.
Faster internet. How would quantum help there?
Well, Comcast is looking into it. They've got this huge network, right? Over 1 million miles of fiber and cable.
Yeah.
Data needs to get routed efficiently. But you've got constantly changing conditions, fiber cuts, sudden surges in streaming demand, all sorts of variables.
Right, it's dynamic.
Super dynamic. Calculating the absolute best path in real time across that massive changing network. It's incredibly hard for conventional computers. Quantum computing could potentially optimize that data flow instantly.
Okay, interesting. What about something like insurance?
Yeah, more affordable insurance. Allstate has this vision. They apparently have digital images of almost every roof in America.
Seriously? Okay.
And they want to use quantum computing to simulate how weather, hail, wind, sun, whatever, would impact specific properties over decades.
Like running the future in fast forward for every house.
Kind of. Billions of simulations, they say, to figure out the right insurance price for every single house, something current algorithms just can't manage at that scale or precision.
That's a fascinating application. Are there more fundamental challenges it could address, like, say, food production?
Absolutely. More sustainable food production is another big one. Producing nitrogen fertilizer, which is essential for growing food, is incredibly energy intensive right now.
Right, it uses a ton of fossil fuels.
Exactly. But nature has a way of doing it very efficiently, using an enzyme called nitrogenase. The problem is, simulating that natural process is way too complex for any regular computer.
Ah, but quantum.
But quantum algorithms might just be able to reverse engineer how that enzyme works, potentially leading to much greener ways to make fertilizer. So quantum is working on this.
Okay, so medicine, internet, insurance, food, the scope is already huge. Any other big areas?
Oh yeah, the broader commercial and AI impacts are enormous. Think optimizing routes for fuel tankers to save fuel, deciding which patients in an ICU need urgent care, most presently based on complex data.
Real-time critical decisions.
Right. Mimicking chemical reactions to discover totally new materials with unique properties. And then there's AI. Quantum could supercharge artificial intelligence,
How so?
making things like truly reliable driverless cars or drone taxis a reality, processing complex environmental data with, well, a mind-boggling degree of effectiveness and efficiency.
So AI gets a massive boost, too.
A massive boost.
Yep.
We're already seeing early successes. A company called Multiverse Computing, I think they're Spanish, reported using quantum algorithms to double profits in foreign exchange trading.
Wow.
And they also caught nearly 4 times as many defects on a production line compared to traditional methods.
So real-world results are already starting to show up.
They are, and it's why you see these huge growth projections. The whole quantum computing industry was maybe $400 million back in 2020, expected to hit something like $8.6 billion by 2027. That's rapid growth.
That's explosive growth. It really feels like we're talking about solving problems that were just unsolvable before.
Exactly. It's not just about doing things faster. It's about changing what's possible.
Okay. That paints a very, very promising picture. But you knew there was a but coming.
Always is, isn't there?
With great power comes great ways to screw everything up, potentially. Let's pivot to the quantum peril, the scary part.
Right. And the biggest, most immediate fear is what people are calling the encryption apocalypse.
Encryption apocalypse sounds dramatic.
It is, because it's foundational. Think about it. Everything from your WhatsApp messages to online banking, military communications, government secrets, it all relies on encryption.
Yeah, math problems that are too hard for current computers to solve quickly.
Exactly. Too hard for classical computers. But a powerful enough quantum computer, it could potentially break many of today's standard encryption methods in minutes, or maybe even seconds.
Minutes for codes protecting, like global finance.
Potentially, yes. That's the threat. It jeopardizes cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, confidential business data, national security, basically the entire trusted infrastructure of the internet.
So what are people doing about it?
Well, there's a huge scramble underway.
Yeah.
Governments, companies, researchers are racing to develop and deploy quantum proof or post-quantum encryption. New methods that even a quantum computer couldn't easily break.
Okay, so there's a defense being built, but what about all of the data that's already out there, encrypted with today's methods?
Ah, that's the next problem. The harvest now, decrypt later strategy. Meaning bad actors, maybe nation states, maybe sophisticated criminal groups, are likely already collecting and storing massive amounts of encrypted data today.
Banking on the idea that they'll be able to crack it open later.
Exactly. Once they get their hands on a powerful quantum computer, all that data they stockpiled becomes vulnerable. A former director of naval intelligence, Matthew Kohler, put it bluntly. The horse is really literally out of the barn on this.
So secrets we think are safe now might not be safe in the future.
That's the concern. It creates this urgency.
And I imagine this leads to, well, competition between nations.
Oh, absolutely. A new kind of arms race. Some are calling it a quantum Cold War.
Between who? The U.S., China.
Primarily the U.S., China, Russia. Whoever gets to quantum supremacy first, meaning a truly powerful, error-corrected quantum computer, could gain a massive advantage in intelligence, military capabilities, economic power. Global security, basically.
Is there a leader in this race?
It's hard to say definitively. There's a lot of secrecy, but China has made it a huge national priority. They've reportedly poured maybe $25 billion into quantum research. It's right there in their 5-year plan.
And the U.S. responds.
The U.S. has the National Quantum Initiative, about $1.2 billion allocated there, and a specific national security memo telling federal agencies they must transition to post-quantum security standards.
So upgrading everything.
Everything. The cost for the cybersecurity sector to make this transition globally could be enormous. Estimates run up to maybe $1 trillion.
$1 trillion just to stay secure. Wow. Okay, what other risks are there beyond encryption and arms races?
Well, there's the potential to worsen the wealth gap. Think about it. The first companies or governments to truly master quantum computing will have this unimaginable advantage.
Like Google or maybe the Pentagon suddenly leaping light years ahead.
Exactly. They could solve problems, create products, gain insights that are impossible for anyone else. That concentration of power could dramatically widen existing economic and social divides.
And could this also fragment the world if different countries develop different security standards, for instance?
That's another serious concern. Geopolitical fragmentation. If the U.S. develops one set of post-quantum standards and China develops another incompatible set, you could see the internet itself fracturing. It could cleave the world into divergent blocks, as one source put it. Sort of a balkanization of the global digital space we currently take for granted.
So goodbye, free and open internet as we know it.
It's a potential risk, yeah.
Yeah.
And one last challenge, maybe a bit more philosophical, but very practical. Trust and verification.
Trusting the computer.
Yeah. Quantum computers tackle problems so complex, using physics that's so counterintuitive. How do we even check their answers?
Good point. If it solves something no classical computer could ever solve, how do you know the answer is right?
Exactly. For some applications, verifying the output is incredibly tricky. It might require, down the line, a bit of a leap of faith. You see this caution already. Boeing, for example, is hesitant to use quantum outputs for critical operational code in aircraft design just yet. They need absolute certainty.
Right, you can't really have a leap of faith when you're designing an airplane.
Not really, no.
Okay, that's a lot to worry about. So let's ground ourselves again. Where are we now? You said this isn't distant future stuff. How close are we?
It feels much closer than people think, but yeah, it's still messy. In terms of current hardware, we actually have working machines.
Like real quantum computers exist.
Oh yeah, Google, IBM. They have early-stage quantum processors, maybe around 100 qubits or so. IBM's latest chip, Osprey, has 433 qubits.
433? Is that a lot?
It's getting there. To put it in perspective, the sheer computational space that Osprey chip represents, if you tried to express it in classical bits, it would be more bits than there are atoms in the known universe.
Okay, stop. More than atoms in the universe.
That's the scale of the possibility space it can explore simultaneously. And China claims they have a quantum computer prototype that's already millions of times faster than the world's top supercomputers for specific tasks.
Millions of times faster. But you said it's messy. What are the catches?
The big catch is engineering challenges. Qubits are incredibly fragile. They're super sensitive to noise, vibrations, temperature changes. They tend to decohere, basically, lose their quantum state, and crash very, very easily after tiny fractions of a second sometimes.
So they're unstable.
Highly unstable, which means you need sophisticated error correction. You might need thousands, maybe even millions of these physical qubits working together just to create one stable, reliable, logical qubit that you can actually compute with for a sustained period.
Millions for one. That sounds like a huge hurdle.
It's the major engineering mountain to climb right now. It requires incredibly complex control systems, extreme environments, like IBM's machines. They have to be cooled down to near absolute zero.
Colder than space.
Colder than outer space, about 0.015 Kelvin. And here's a fun detail. Inside those super fridges, they actually use unwaxed, unflavored dental floss to tie down some of the wiring.
Dental floss? Seriously? Why?
Because at those extreme temperatures, almost everything else becomes brittle and might break or interfere with the qubits. Dental floss works.
That's amazing. Okay, so given these challenges, what are the realistic timelines? When do we see widespread use?
It's the million-dollar or maybe billion-dollar question. Full-scale, fault-tolerant quantum computers that can break current encryption. Most experts say maybe 5 to 10 years away. Could be sooner, could be later.
5 to 10 years. It's not that far off.
It's really not. And the conversations are changing. IBM is aiming for a full-scale, fault-tolerant machine by 2029. Their VP of Quantum, Jay Gambetta, he actually said he believes we will do more in the next 5 years in quantum innovation than we did in the last 30.
That's a bold claim.
It is, but it reflects the pace of investment and progress. Billions are pouring in, though, as we mentioned, there's that disparity. China's estimated $25 billion versus the U.S.'s $1.2 billion in its main initiative. Other countries are investing too, of course.
And beyond the hardware and the money, what about people? Are we actually ready to use this technology?
That's another critical piece. IBM has specifically highlighted this. We need a workforce that understands quantum principles, that can develop quantum algorithms, that can actually apply this technology.
Sure.
There's a skills gap looming. And there's also a geopolitical readiness question raised by companies like BMW. How do we ensure industries everywhere can actually access and benefit from quantum tech, regardless of, international tensions or where the hardware gets built? We don't want this powerful tool to be confined to just a few players or blocks.
Preventing that fragmentation we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've covered the mind-bending potential, the pretty scary risks, and the messy reality of where we are now. Which brings us to the big question for you listening. Should we be excited or terrified?
And the honest answer has to be both.
Yeah, it really feels like both.
This technology could genuinely save millions of lives through new medicines and materials. Or it could destabilize the global economy and upend security as we know it.
It could unlock secrets of the universe.
Or give authoritarian regimes unprecedented power for surveillance and control. The range of outcomes is just vast.
And the most unsettling part, maybe, is that we're not really ready.
We're not. Regulation, security standards, even public understanding and ethical frameworks. They're all playing catch-up to the sheer speed of the science and engineering.
It really drives home that this isn't just, the next iPhone upgrade. It's not just another tech trend.
No, not at all.
This feels like a fundamental paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like the invention of electricity or the internet or maybe even nuclear power, something that genuinely changes, everything.
It really does have that feel. Which leads to a final thought, perhaps. Given this unprecedented power, this quantum leap, and the intense global race to harness it, what do we actually need to put in place? What ethical guardrails, what international agreements, what societal safeguards are absolutely essential to make sure this new frontier benefits all of humanity?
Instead of becoming a tool for more division, more inequality, or even disaster.
Exactly. How do we navigate this transition responsibly?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? So, after hearing all this, where do you land? Are you leaning more towards excitement for the future, more worried about the risks?
Or maybe just still trying to get your head around how a qubit can be both 0 and 1 at the same time.
Yeah, that too. Wherever you stand, one thing seems certain. The quantum era is coming.
It's coming fast.
And it's going to be wild.